If somebody derives an authority to rule from the king or from the panchas, people's representatives, that system of governance is lasting and permanent because the panchas who treat the poor with equity and justice and therefore are vested with the divine grace entrust this authority to one who is upright. But these banyas have unholy designs. They use the person or persons in authority to destroy others so that they and their descendants earn a bad name. As for themselves, the Saudagars remain unscathed. Ravana, Hiranyakashipu, and others had captivated the wisdom of the people by means of diabolism, and so to the people at large they appeared saintly and virtuous. In the same way, these Saudagars too have deluded people who find these traders very pious and virtuous. To show to the world, these Saudagars give protection to animals and perform religious and charitable deeds so that their sinful activities do not come to light. As a matter of fact, they are indulging in a secret activity across the seas. People talk of the Svarga and the Naraka, where they say are located 84 lakh kundis filled with blood and pus. In fact, there is no such thing as the Svarga or the Naraka. Of course, these traders and moneylenders like Ravana and Hiranyakashipu are actually performing diabolic rites on the 84 lakh kundis filled with blood and pus to curse the whole world. As a result, the world has to suffer from miseries and misfortune. These Saudagars keep the core of their knowledge of the ancient art of diabolism in their safe custody and teach its rudiments to the rulers of other communities who, under misconception, take pride in having built a Svarga of diabolism. Little do they realize that they are not the main operator of this sinful practice and that they have picked up a fragment of it from someone else. The Mahajans have done so in order to keep their position anonymous so that their children do not become the victim of people's wrath. They want that harm should come to the children of those who have learned this black art from them. That was actually the purpose of these Saudagars, to teach others this practice. But people do not realize it in spite of the fact that at least 8 rulers belonging to the Hindu as well as the Muslim community have lost their lives as a result of this diabolic practice. They had been taught a small portion of this sinful practice by the Saudagars, who had first captivated their intellect so that they would not know about the motive behind it. About 8 to 9 Hindu and Muslim rulers have been killed, but this practice has not stopped. These rulers have earned a bad name for having practiced diabolism. The diabolism has taken the life of Ravana and others, and still it is flourishing. The point is that if the practitioners of diabolism have all been killed, how is it that this sinful art is still continuing? The fact is that the actual practitioners of this ancient art of diabolism have not been killed. Only those have been destroyed who had learnt a bit of it from the Saudagars. So this ancient black magic belongs to the Banyas, which is why this practice is still continuing. After a break of a couple of generations, they resume it afresh. However, nobody has come to know as to who are the real perpetrators of this sinful act. Since these Saudagars have tormented me by their diabolism, it is absolutely clear that this ancient practice of diabolism is the creation of these Banyas and not Ravana. It is these Saudagars who had surreptitiously taught Ravana and others some part of their diabolic operation. Trapped by these Saudagars, Ravana and others started practicing diabolism and as a consequence lost their lives. They incurred the displeasure of the people of the world when they practiced diabolism, so people killed them. Now I want to tell the rulers of all the countries about the ancient art of diabolism practiced by these Saudagars. They will teach people of all the 7 or 8 continents, including the Britishers, a little bit of diabolism and will rule the world when others will have been ruined. As Ravana and others had earned a bad name, so will the people of the whole world be condemned. Therefore, you should dismantle the diabolic operation of these Saudagars so that people will lead a happy life. This ancient black art belongs to these Saudagars. They have not left this sinful activity. They do not tell the truth because they practice diabolism secretly and people of their community are directly involved in it. They have not stopped practicing this age-old art of black magic. They would not tell the truth. They are indulging in this secret activity with the assistance of the people of their own community. An undisclosed island in the midst of an ocean, spreading in an area of thousands of miles, is the venue of their diabolic operation. What is described by the Hindus as well as the Muslims as the Swarga and the Naraka, with the 84 lakh kundis filled with blood and pus, is in fact the diabolic operation of these Saudagars. With the help of this diabolic practice, they brainwash the people who, under that influence, cannot have access to the reality. If somebody ventures into the sea, his ship is not allowed to go near their territory. They create severe pain in Earth's abdomen by their diabolic power, with the result that the ship is trapped in the tornado and destroyed. This situation is comparable to a man with a disturbed stomach due to illness. The disturbed stomach of Earth causes high tidal waves in the sea. If the sea was not afflicted by the cause of diabolism, it would remain placid and no tidal waves would rise, nor would there be any tornado. But these Banias are performing diabolic rites day in and night. Banias are performing diabolic rites day and night to curse Mother Earth. This results in tornadoes and quakes. They have captivated the wisdom of the common people as well as the kings and the rulers of the world. In the ancient times, both the sun and the moon rose in full glory in a regulated manner. The day began with the rising of the sun and it ended with the rising of the moon, the full moon. It is said that during the Satyuga, the full moon used to rise every night. Since the time they have started practicing diabolism to curse the moon, it has stopped appearing in full glory. They start this ritual from the first day of the first fortnight. On the first day, the intensity of the rite is very low, so the reduction in the shape of the moon is minute. The second day, the intensity is slightly increased, resulting in proportional reduction in the moon's size. The third day, the intensity is further increased, which further reduces the size of the moon. This goes on till the 15th day, the Amavas, moonless night, when the intensity is at the peak, resulting in total disappearance of the moon. The night is dark. In the next fortnight, the practice is reversed. The intensity of the diabolic rite is gradually reduced. From the first day of the second fortnight, the appearance of the moon starts increasing. Every next day, The moon becomes bigger as a result of further decrease in the intensity of the diabolic rite. Finally, on the day of Poonam, the full moon night, the diabolic rite is given a break, resulting in the appearance of full moon. Then they cause eclipse. In that case, if the intensity of the diabolic rite is just half, a half of the moon's face is eclipsed. If the intensity is increased, there is proportionate increase in the eclipsed part of the moon. It is like a man suffering from migraine. Similarly, they have caused migraine to Mother Earth, which remains all the 12 months of the year except on the Poonam. On that day, the moon appears in full. They have spread all kinds of stories relating to this aspect. They say that the dark moonless night has been granted to the Thebes on their demand. According to another story, the daughters-in-law have asked for a dark night. These Banyas are causing eclipse to the moon and the sun exactly in the same way as Ravana did. So eclipses are happening as always. The moon reduces and then increases gradually, and the almanacs etc. say about it. These almanacs etc. tell us 12 months in advance as to when the solar and the lunar eclipses will take place. These almanacs have been circulated by the Mahajans. Earlier, Ravana had produced and circulated such almanacs. When the scourge of this irreligious practice is brought to an end, then alone the full moon will appear in the sky as it appeared during the Satyuga. The empty clouds remain in the sky for as many as 10 to 15 days. There is no rain. As a result, human beings suffer from various diseases and crops are damaged. Mother Earth quite often suffers from this disease. As a man suffering from flatulence experiences contraction in his body and pain in his ribs, in the same way, Mother Earth is afflicted by the disease of the empty clouds. Food grains and cereals get damaged. They make predictions in the almanacs etc. to the effect that food grains will be afflicted by diseases. Crops and vegetation will be burnt. They create cold wave which destroys all vegetation. This happens when they perform diabolic rites to curse earth. They have caused a variety of diseases to Mother Earth, and so she has lost strength. The gold and silver mines inside her have dried up and have disappeared. When they cause innumerable diseases to Mother Earth, people think that it is an act of God. A man suffering from some disease experiences unbearable pain in his body. Similarly, Mother Earth suffers from severe pain when some disease is caused to her. But the wisdom of the people has been captivated to the extent that when they split Mother Earth and uproot trees by causing strong winds, or when they cause acidity and indigestion to the seawater by their diabolic power, the people describe these disasters as an act of God. However, nobody knows that earth is a living being. The Banyas have so much brainwashed the people that they have forgotten about the existence of Mother Earth. The body and soul of Mother Earth are undergoing a great deal of suffering, but nobody knows that this suffering has been caused by the diabolism of the Banyas. Mother Earth is a living being, but the people whose thinking power has been destroyed by the Banyas with their diabolic power cannot think so. They do not think for a moment as to where the gold and silver mines of earth have gone, because earth is the same as she was before. It is all due to lack of their thinking faculty that they do not bother about it. The gold and silver mines served as the essential fat in the body of earth. This fat has dried up owing to Earth's illness. The gold and silver mines are nowhere to be seen. The people of India have been deprived of their thinking power, but people and the rulers of other countries too do not seem to bother their heads as to why it is that though earth is the same as before, the gold and silver mines have disappeared. Ravana had captivated the intellect of the people of all the three worlds, and so they had lost their traditional knowledge about Earth's existence. Similarly, these Saudagars have spoiled the intellect of the people of all the 7 or 8 continents, and so none of them has any knowledge about Mother Earth's existence as a living organism. Earlier, when mines were there, people need not accumulate money. They could simply dig it up as one digs up earth and stones whenever they needed money. Now, earth no more has so much wealth that one can dig it up easily to meet one's needs. However, at some place, people have attempted to dig up gold, but a lot of money is spent in this process. Sometimes the yield is 1 rupee and 4 annas, and the cost of this exercise is 1 rupee. But mostly against the cost of 1 rupee, the yield is 12 annas and even less. So people have stopped this exercise. Most of the money is in the possession of the banias, and whatever is left will soon be grabbed by them. Then the richest among the kings all over the world will hold a share about a kilogram of bronze. Just imagine the richest man possessing only a share of bronze. With that wealth in his possession, how will he give charity, meet his daily expenses, and maintain an army? It is said that in the Kali Yuga, the situation will be so bad that a man owning a share of bronze will be called a rich man. These stories have been circulated by the Banias, who have associated with them the names of the ancient sages and the ancestors, the names of the ancient sages, the ancestors of the Hindus and the Muslims, so that they remain themselves unidentified. Earlier, there were enough number of gold and silver mines, and people used to dig up the metal to meet their requirements. It was possible because then Earth's body was fresh and healthy, and fat had not yet dried up. Since the time these Saudagars have started practicing diabolism, Earth has been suffering from a number of diseases, with the result that fat inner body, known to the people as mines of gold and silver, has dried up. They will not let the money of other countries remain there. It is like this. Sometimes a man suffers from a disease in which the swelling or injury makes the blood rush from head to feet or vice versa. The Saudagars cause sickness to earth by their diabolic power. Thus, earth suffers from a number of diseases. But you people are completely unaware of it. You do not know that these Saudagars can split the earth and draw out money from any place by their diabolic power, just as they can make a temple appear at a place different from its original location. These Saudagars cause pain and suffering to Mother Earth in order to draw out money and wealth stored at a far away place. This is a kind of disease caused to Mother Earth similar to an ailment of a human being due to problems like flatulence. Mother Earth suffers from such ailments when the Saudagars perform diabolic rites to curse her. The body of Mother Earth is just like a human body. When they cause this ailment to Mother Earth by practicing the diabolic rites, her suffering is comparable to that of a human being afflicted by flatulence. These innumerable ailments These innumerable ailments have been caused to Mother Earth by the Banyas who practice diabolism for this purpose. As a result, Mother Earth has lost her strength with the drying up of the essential fat in her body. Now that the gold and silver mines are nowhere to be found, wherefrom will you people all over the world get money? In the absence of these mines of precious metals, money transaction is not possible. If there were these mines, you could dig up the metal just as one digs up earth and stones. But since the mines have dried up, where can you get it from? As for the money which is still there, the Saudagars with their diabolic power will not let it remain with any one of you. How will then you and your children make both ends meet? When none of you will have any money, you, the people of the world, will come in the grip of these Saudagars. Then they will deal with you the way they liked. Brethren, that life of slavery would not be worth living. So long as the diabolic operation of these Saudagars is not exposed, they will live a life of the poor and devout persons. If their activities come to light, people will force them to stop their evil practice. But their black magic has many forms and facets which are difficult to be detected. Earlier, they had taught Ravana a small part of their diabolic operation. When Ravana practiced it and was subsequently caught, the people of the world, in order to save their children from disaster, punished him with death. Afraid of the disastrous end of Ravana and others, these Saudagars are very careful not to be exposed. Instead, they teach the rulers of other communities their black art partially, thinking that if people come to know about diabolism being practiced, they will hold the new practitioners responsible for this sinful activity and kill them along with their offspring. Thus they teach others part of their sinful activity while they themselves practice it in its real form, which creates disastrous situation in the world. If they do not involve others in this sinister game, their nefarious role may be exposed. That's why they teach others their black art. They preferably teach the rulers of other communities so that they will be the culprits in the eyes of the people. Nobody, however, suspects the Saudagars. Others who have been taught by these Saudagars do not think that the Saudagars have surreptitiously taught them this sinful activity with an ulterior motive. These people do not realize that the Saudagars have captivated their wisdom and that they have taught them a bit of their diabolic practice with the intention of ruining them. These thoughts do not come to them because they have lost their thinking ability. Dear brethren, these Saudagars work out their plan in a way that they teach others their sinful practice so that they remain unharmed while the children of others are doomed. They welcome if a poor man learns it. We are all the more happy if the kings or the rulers could be motivated to learn and practice this sinful act of diabolism, because then there is no fear of their being exposed, and thus people of their community will not be harmed, while people belonging to other communities will bear the brunt of people's wrath. For motivating people to learn the abhorrent practice of diabolism, they approach them in the garb of a sadhu or a fakir and suggest them to learn it from books on this subject. However, these books give truncated information of this art, but people of other communities and castes do not for a moment think that these books of mystic practices, which teach them only partially the art of diabolism, may have been given to them with the motive of ruining them. These unscrupulous Banyas have very cleverly given the names of the kings and the rulers of other communities and of the sadhus and the fakirs in these books, which in fact they have produced and circulated. All believe in these books. The actual authors of these books do not mention their names in them and instead fraudulently attribute them to men of other communities. Obviously, a person committing theft will never say that he has committed this crime. You will blame some other person. Likewise, these Baniyas, in order to keep their sinful activities within the cloak of secrecy, mention the names of people of other communities instead of their own. If a person declares that he has committed the crime, then he will be caught and punished. It is for this reason that the Baniyas do not give their names in these books of mysticism for fear of being punished. Instead, they have given in them the names of the kings and common subjects belonging to the communities different from their own, so that their own community is not harmed. When the Baniyas exercise their diabolic power to destroy the wisdom of the people of other communities, and when these people start practicing parts of mystic rites which they have learned from books, after a generation or two, their offspring have to pay for the sins of their forefathers. Those who learn and practice mystic rites do not think that the essence of this black art is in the exclusive custody of those who have produced these books, and it is they who have its full knowledge. But others, whose thinking power has been captivated, read these books with interest and follow the procedure given in them. Little do they realize that these books do not belong to them, and those who have produced these books are keeping themselves at a safe distance. This sinful practice belongs to them, and they alone must be knowing about it in totality. After all, these books have not descended from the sky. They have been written and produced by human beings. Nobody seems to think so, although 8 to 9 kings and rulers belonging to both the Hindu and the Muslim communities have been done to death as perpetrators of this sinful practice, in the same way as Ravana, Hiranyakashipu, Kamsa, Karun and others were punished. The practice of diabolism is still intact. It is flourishing. Those who come across these books of diabolic rites are very happy, as though they had struck a fortune or the kingdom of the whole world. They do not realize that those who had practiced this sin earlier were caught red-handed and killed, and now it is their turn to be punished for practicing diabolism. Those taking interest in learning and practicing diabolism do not think that as Ravana and others who had learned and practiced this mystic art were killed by the people of the world for their sins, they too will be punished, and their children killed for learning this black art from books and practicing it. They must know that they have not originated this sinful practice, just as Ravana had not originated it. It belonged to others. Ravana and others had learned and then practiced it, and so they were killed, rather completely wiped out. But those who originated it remained unscathed, and they are still practicing it unabated. And nobody knows about it. Others, not in their right senses, learn this mystic rite and then practice it. The practitioners of this ancient form of diabolism have captivated the wisdom of the people, as a result of which they do not know the reality. They have been dishonestly trapped and killed. Those unscrupulous Baniyas spread in advance rumors to the effect that they, the Baniyas, belong to the royal lineage. To the Muslims they say, first Shah, the businessman's community, and then Badshah, the king. Let me tell you, they are extremely selfish. They are maintaining friendly relations with the British rulers. They are telling the whole world that they are one with the Britishers and that the Britishers too, like them, are Banias. Thus they pretend to be friendly with one and all and overtly live a life of austerity. They will first show great respect to others, calling them their father and brother, but afterwards destroy them. They are running hundreds of such sinful operations. They will first make friends with others, calling them brothers, and then finish them off with their diabolism. They have already circulated a prediction that the British rulers will rule the entire world. These Banias had also predicted that Ravana, Hiranyakashipu, Kamsa, Karun, and others would rule throughout the length and breadth of the whole world. Far from ruling the world, they fell into the trap of the diabolic operation and lost their lives. They are remembered with contempt and horror as the demons who had let loose a reign of terror. However, nobody could find out the actual operation of this diabolic act. The Saudagars have taken recourse to this mystic rite of diabolism in order to fulfill their secret ambition of capturing political and economic power of the world. They have been motivating others to learn and practice a little bit of this black art since long and thus causing their ruination. Ravana, Hiranyakashipu, Kamsa, and Karun had accumulated huge wealth by their diabolic power during their rule. It is said that Ravana had built the city of Lanka made of gold, and Karun had collected 40 dungris, a measure of money. Their entire wealth and money is in the possession of these Banias. Those who had learned this black art lost their wisdom and their lives. Even their children could not enjoy the riches collected by them. There was a lot of wealth and money in the world which always remained in the custody of the Banias. The huge amount of money and wealth which Ravana had accumulated by repressing his subjects did not remain with him. What I want to say is that there was so much wealth in the world, but all of it was held by the Banias. Even the revenue that was collected by Ravana by taxing subjects heavily did not remain with him, nor could his descendants lay their hands on it. Ravana and others, along with their descendants, were doomed. Most of the money was possessed by these sinners. Their diabolism is still continuing because they are motivating others to practice it. Those whom they have taught sinful activities are practicing it at present or will do so in future. They will meet the same fate as Ravana and others did. Now listen, if you do not believe in what I am telling you and would not do anything to deal with the diabolism of the Banias will establish their supremacy and slowly destroy the people of all the continents in the same way as they destroyed Ravana. India has already been ruined, and whatever has been left of it will also be destroyed by the foreign rulers who will be lured by the Banias to rule the country. Let me tell the rulers of the foreign lands that if they succumb to the temptation and ruin India under the diabolic influence, then they too, along with their children, will be doomed. Since nobody is aware of the diabolic operation, the people will start fighting among themselves, resulting in large-scale deaths. As Ravana's greediness caused his downfall, the greed and temptation of ruling India generated in you the rulers and foreign lands. The rulers of foreign lands will bring about your total ruination. These Banias tempted Ravana to expand his empire and finally doomed him. Similarly, When this covetousness will enter the minds of the foreign rulers, as per their plan, they will be doomed, and then the Banias succeed in their mission of ruling the world. That's why I appeal to you to finish off their diabolic operation in the interest of the well-being of the coming generation. If this scourge of diabolism is allowed to continue, the Banias will control the economic power of the world as they have done in India, and their sinful act will remain a secret beyond the access of anybody. During the Sati Yuga, even the men of divine qualities could not know about the secret activity because their wisdom had been captivated by means of diabolic power. Then Ravana had immensely tormented Shanishchara by diabolism, and so he came to know about this mystic practice. He immediately told the people of the world about it. The people of the world got united and fought this menace. Consequently, the network of the diabolic operation was broken to some extent, but it has again been revived now, and I have become its victim. Until I was tormented, I did not know that they were practicing diabolism. But now that they have tortured me, and so like Shanishchara, I have come to know about the mystic rite that they have been performing. As soon as I was subjected to torture, I thought of your children, and so I am telling you about the diabolic rites being performed by the Banias. You, the people of the world, are the creation of God. These Banias have tormented me by performing the diabolic rite in my presence. As I have already said several times, the magical effect of the diabolism has deprived people of their rational thinking. The Banias will completely ruin the world, and after that, only these infidels will be left in the world. Just think of it. When the God's creation itself will have been destroyed, what will remain there? If you people of the world, the kings, the rulers like Sri Ramachandra, unitedly fight and dismantle the diabolism of the Banias, the coming generation of the world will live in peace and comfort. Otherwise, they will destroy all the countries with their diabolic power. These Banias have tortured me by their diabolism. The noose of their diabolism is tightening around me. The pain is unbearable. Having suffered this unbearable torture, I want to caution you that the diabolic rite of these Banias will create scarcity of food, deprive people of their money and wealth, and corrupt the intellect of the people. You can see how brothers are fighting among themselves, taking each other's lives. I can't say what is in store for people. That's why, in the name of God, I want to warn you that these Banias will torture God's creation. I am a humble man, and repeatedly I have written that earlier the kings and the rulers in Delhi, the capital of India, followed the path of righteousness, but now they have lost their sense of right and wrong under the diabolic influence and have started losing temper and quarreling with each other. They have been torturing their subjects. Internal conflicts are taking a heavy toll. The situation is going from bad to worse with every passing day. The secret behind all that is happening is not known to anybody. These Saudagars have circulated books of devilish contents, attributing them to the holy men among the Hindus and the Muslims. They are greatly mistaken. These books are not the religious books. They are greatly mistaken. These books are not the religious texts of the Hindus and the Muslims. They are the products of these Saudagars. They have attributed these books to the holy men among the ancestors of the Hindus and the Muslims so that their sinful act is not exposed. Going by these books, the Muslims say that as a result of the curse of the holy men of their religion in ancient times, the kingdoms have crumbled. The Hindus believe that the curse of Lord Shiva has resulted in the destruction of the Hindu kingdoms. According to them, all the kings in India are under the curse of their respective deities. In Marwar, goddess Chamunda is said to have cursed the kingdom. The people of Marwar say that goddess Chamunda had cursed that the kingdom of Jodhpur would remain under subjugation for the Rathod, that the kingdom of Jodhpur would remain under subjugation of the Rathods for 500 years, and thereafter their rule will come to an end. At present, King Edward is ruling the country through Governor General and other authorities of high status. About them, people say that the British came with good intention, but when they leave, they will have ill will. These things may have been mentioned in some of these books, but as a matter of fact, when these Banias will brainwash you, the British rulers, by their diabolic power, he will start harassing the people and become destitute. Then they will bring rulers of some other countries to destroy you, the British. It is with this concern that I am repeatedly saying that these Banias will use their magical power to lure the rulers of other countries to come to India. Then they will spread ominous predictions about their fate. The next step will be to perform the sacrificial rite to harm those foreign rulers. Thus the predictions will become a reality. It is said that nobody thinks how is it that things that they spread in advance turn into a reality. Why is it so that those who come to rule India destroy this country with their own hands? In this way, rulers of all the 7 or 8 continents will be lured by the Banias to come and rule this country. They will then exploit the people of India and ruin the country. How will they do it? The Banias will train the rulers of these 7 or 8 continents in the art of diabolism. They will teach them only a small part of their black art and keep the core of their knowledge with them, exactly as they did with Ravana. Bereft with their thinking power, they will hold themselves responsible for all the ills. Thus the rulers and others of all the continents will wage a war against each other, in which most of them will be killed and their number will be reduced. The Saudagars will find that they are more in number as compared to others, and so nobody can harm them. Then they will rule the world. As long as the people of all the 7 or 8 continents are in substantial number, they will teach these people a little bit of their magical rites so that they are branded as sinners. They will not do so only at the risk of their own survival. They are indulging in strange and mysterious activities, and nobody knows the secret of their magical art. They will destroy the thinking faculty of the people, who will then start killing each other till such time when they will remain few in number. Then these wretched Banias will rule the world. Prior to that, they will let people of other communities rule the countries of the world, because others will be outnumbering the Banias. Others will then get a bad name, while the Banias will remain unexposed and unscathed. When they will see that they have outnumbered others, they will take the reins of economic and political powers in their own hands. Brothers, fakirs and sadhus of the present day are no different from those of the earlier times, but these Saudagars have made before public that the sadhus and the fakirs of the ancient times had created the universe, and it is they who can destroy their creation. One must understand that this universe has been in existence from time immemorial, and it is God's creation. The sages of earlier times did not create it. All of us, you and me, are caught in this diabolic net and so cannot think properly. Now the names of your ancestors are given in these books, which you so much revere. I would request you to create a universe. If you, the descendants of the ancient sages, cannot do it, how was it possible for them to create the universe? In fact, the universe is the creation of God. Just as worms and other microorganisms grow inside man's stomach, we, the human beings, have grown in Mother Earth's stomach. I want to remind you that these Banias have spoiled the intellect of you people by their diabolic power. You are behaving as an intoxicated man behaves. These books say that Lord Shiva and Goddess Devi designed this universe and Brahma created it. Brahma, Shiva, Devi and others were all human beings. They were born just as you and I were born in Earth's stomach. Shivaji was a devotee like many others. His real name was Shivanath. Brahma was Brahman and Devi's name was Devali. All of them were great devotees, and by virtue of their devotion and righteousness, they are still remembered with reverence. They have immortalized their names. They will remain immortal as long as human being will exist. When you, the people of the world, will cease to exist, who will be there to remember them? If you too follow in their footsteps and adopt righteousness, you too will become immortal. But these Banias have so much spoiled the intellect of the people that they no more have compassion for any living being. During the days of the religious-minded people of earlier times, the influence of diabolism was not so much as it is now. They were full of pity and compassion for others. After the death of Raja Bal, the Banias have spread their network of diabolism with the result that people have lost the virtues of righteousness and compassion for other living beings. The books say that the universe was created by Brahma, Shivaji, Devi and Lord Krishna. But I think that no human being can create universe. God has not given him any such power. It is the creation of God himself. Besides, books say that Hanumanji lifted a mountain. Just think, how can a man be so powerful as to lift a huge mountain? Mountains are bones of Mother Earth, as a human being has bones in his body. The books also say that he had held the sun in his mouth. The books eulogize his power and strength. Do you know that the magical power can make a mountain fly and also can bring down the sun? When they perform the diabolic ritual to curse earth, all the living beings have to suffer. They tear apart the skeletal frame of earth and thus cause her a lot of pain. According to the religious texts of the Muslims, a holy fakir filled his tumbi, a small vessel, with the entire Anasagar, a huge lake in Ajmer. It is also said that when the holy fakir visited Ajmer, a horse struck the ground with its hooves, which tore the 7 layers of earth. Both the Hindus and the Muslims are taking great pride in the miraculous feats of their respective ancestors. They do not know that it is the magical power which makes huge reservoir of water evaporate. It makes huge reservoir of water to evaporate and also tears earth's layers. When magical power is used to tear earth, it results in a lot of pain to earth. These unscrupulous elements have caused a variety of afflictions to earth. They surreptitiously suggest to the people of the world, including the fakirs, to learn this black magic. Having lost their sense of judgment, people have become unconcerned about the pain and suffering of Mother Earth. The Banias are trying their best to see that their sinful activity continues unhindered and the world remains lost in the stories of miracles. So many and so diverse concoctions have been circulated by the Banias that it is difficult to keep track of all of them. I remember only a few of them which I want to write about. If I were well educated, I could have remembered more of them. Now you, the Hindus and the Muslims, are educated, and so you should make it a point to read very carefully this text which I have dictated to my clerk. Until I was tormented by the Banias with their magical exercise, I too, like others, could not see through their game. I too believed that our ancestors had miraculous powers, but when the Banias tormented me by their magical power, I came to know about their sinful activities. The books which the Hindus and the Muslims regard as their religious texts and which bear the names of their ancestors were surreptitiously produced by the Banias. They thought that when the rulers of other countries, having fallen in their trap, would come to ruin the people of India and see these books claimed by the Hindus and the Muslims as their religious texts, they would come to the conclusion that the rulers and the sadhus and the fakirs of India practice diabolism. This will prove disastrous to both the Hindus and the Muslims. The Banias will remain unharmed. These Saudagars have so much spoiled the thinking faculty of the people of India that they readily believe in miracles. By practicing diabolism, the Banias can create hallucination. All of us know that the dead cannot come back, but these Banias by their magical power can make people see persons who had died long ago. They perform their diabolic ritual in the name of the saints of earlier times. Then people see them in their dreams. When the Hindus go on a pilgrimage to Hinglaj, the devotee among them is shown the face of Hinglajji. This is done by the Banias to make use of their magical power for the purpose. The person who has had the darshan of Hinglajji after returning to his native place tells others that in the Hinglaj there is a big shrine of the Devi, the goddess, which he has seen with his own eyes. The people of the world say that only a great devotee is blessed with the darshan of Hinglajji. In Hinglaj, there is a temple of Kalka Devi. People visit that temple for darshan. They offer a goat's blood to the Kalka Devi. If the blood trickles down on the floor, people believe that the goddess is not happy. But in case the blood poured on the idol of the Devi evaporates, it is believed that the goddess has accepted the offering and she is propitiated. This is mentioned in religious books. You can see how people are being misled by these books. The goddess does not either drink the blood or evaporate it. It is all due to the diabolic practice of the Saudagars. Likewise, Mecca and Medina are considered to be the most important shrines of the Muslims. The Muslims visit these shrines to pay their respects. The Muslims have been the rulers of this country, but they too have been deprived of their rational faculty. When they go to the holy shrines, they see a she-camel in their dreams, which is made possible by the magical power. They believe that it is all due to the blessing of the holy men who seem to be happy with them. On the way to Hinglaj, there is a shrine of Chandrakupa Swami. At that place, Mother Earth is suffering from a disease which has been caused by diabolism. You know, when a wound in our body becomes ulcerous, pus is formed there and the flesh starts decaying. The ulcer bursts and pus oozes out. Similar kind of disease has been caused to Mother Earth by these banyas. So when people visit the shrine and ask for the darshan of Chandragupa Swami, pus starts flowing out from a hole. When this happens, people believe that Chandragupa Swami has granted them his darshan. We do not know how big that ulcer is, whether it is as big as a pond or bigger or smaller than that. Hundreds of diseases have been caused to Mother Earth, as a result of which she has become weak and emaciated. There is no fat left in her body. You will know about it only when you try to find out. You people are completely ignorant of the problems being faced by Mother Earth because you have lost your wisdom. You only believe in what is written in the books which you so much revere. I want you, the Hindus and the Muslims of India, to inform the people of all the 7 or 8 continents, including the British, about the diabolic designs of these Saudagars. I want you to read this book of mine, which aims at exposing the misdeeds of the Banyas and spread its message far and wide. There are other countries in the 7 or 8 continents, whereas India is alone. These Banyas are greedy for power and pelf. I have fully discovered the tentacles of their diabolic operation, which is why I have decided to expose some of their black deeds in this book. These Banyas will bring the rulers of all other countries to rule this country and to destroy you people. The foreign rulers will have no inkling of the secret designs of these banyas, who would ultimately hold the power in their hands. They, the foreign rulers, will not know that the banyas will finish off everybody, including them, and still they will not get wind of their betrayal. The banyas will take away their thinking ability by means of their diabolic power. They are the biggest betrayer and deceiver. They are secretly planning to grab the wealth of all the rest of the countries exactly the way they have grabbed India's riches. Ravana had nurtured a similar ambition. The people of other countries do not know that these banyas are planning to grab their wealth and ruin them along with their children. When there will be only a handful of people left in all the countries, these unscrupulous people like Ravana will wield the political and economic power of the world. If they are told about this secret design of the Banyas, they will never be tempted to occupy the throne of Delhi. They would wipe out the entire race of the Saudagars. They would rather have them crushed in the oil mill. But unfortunately, they are unaware of it. And this unawareness is going to take the lives of the people of all the 7 or 8 continents, including the Indian people, both the Hindus and the Muslims. Therefore, I am cautioning the Hindus and the Muslims of India against the evil designs of these Saudagars. So long as you, the people of India, are living unharmed, it should be your responsibility to tell the people of other countries about the devilry of these banyas so that their efforts may bring to an end and their sinful practice. If you fail to seek the cooperation of the people of other countries, this web of diabolism can never be broken, and that will bring disaster to the humanity. Therefore, you, both the Hindus and the Muslims, should approach the rulers as well as the common people of all the countries and continents and tell them respectfully that the sinful operation of these banyas is the same kind as that of Ravana and Hiranyakashipu, and that under the influence of their sinister activity, you are killing each other, and also the rulers of other countries are being brought to destroy you people. These Saudagars will ultimately destroy all the 7 or 8 continents by their diabolic power. Tell them that you have become almost mad as a result of their diabolic exercise, and so they should not have any iota of doubt in this matter. Tell them that the Baniyas have so much spoiled your wisdom that you think that their diabolism is some kind of miracle. You should also tell them that when they, the foreign rulers, come to India on the invitation of the Baniyas, you are presented to them as evildoers, and at the same time, they, the rulers of other countries, are presented to you as the monsters. Thus, to the people of other countries, they suggest that the Indian people, both the Hindus and the Muslims, are evil minded, and to the people of India, they suggest that the foreign rulers have ill intentions, while they, the real culprits, keep themselves at a safe distance. In India, they have circulated books of diabolic content, presenting them as chronicles of miraculous events. These books bear the names of the ancestors of the Hindus and the Muslims. The purpose is that when the foreign rulers will find these dubious books bearing the names of the ancestors of the Hindus and the Muslims, they will come to the conclusion that the Hindus and the Muslims are practicing diabolism. So they must be told that they should ponder over the fact that a person indulging in any wrongdoing will not disclose his involvement in it. If the Hindus and the Muslims are the originators and practitioners of diabolism, why would they expose themselves by mentioning the name of their ancestors in those books? In fact, these books containing diabolic materials are the product of these Saudagars who do not want their identity to be disclosed, and so they have not given their names in those books. These books, including those found in the homes of the Baniyas, bear the names of the ancestors of the Hindus and the Muslims. These unscrupulous elements would annihilate the children of the world and hand over the reins of power to their own children. They will create forgetfulness among the people so that they will not remember whatever has been disclosed. They would expect that nobody should know and expose their sinful activity. They had also created this sort of loss of memory in the rulers. These Baniyas are highly irreligious. They will hang a bait of temptation and then take away your power of reasoning. So do not fall a prey to their temptation. Your greediness may cost the life of your children. I want that your children should not be harmed. I am greatly concerned about the safety and well-being of all human beings. That's why I am cautioning you against the diabolic activity of the Baniyas. Their business establishments have reached in other parts of the world. They have transported their wealth to other countries across the seas, just as Ravana has taken his wealth to Lanka. The Baniyas will indulge in all types of frauds and deception and will leave India for the places where they have slashed their money. They will continue to stay in India till they completely dispossess the people of whatever money has been left with them. They will convince you that they do not have any money. They have already displayed a prediction that the Baniyas will have no money. They even declare themselves as bankrupt to hoodwink the people. Just think over it. Who can snatch their money? Like Ravana, they had transported their wealth across the seas, and now they say that they do not have money. On reaching that island, they will intensify their diabolic activity and thereby cause epidemics and riots in all the continents, which will take a heavy toll of human life. When they will find that the few people who have survived will pose no threat to their supremacy, they will establish their rule all over the world.